look at them and say, hold on just a minute. That person is not here. I don't want to hear that. Thank you. Now, if it's something like, let me tell you about so-and-so. Man, that's a great lady. She is so nice and kind, and that's a good guy, and that's a good people. That's the stuff you want to hear. Anything negative, listen, shut it, turn it off, get away from it. Amen? Because let me tell you, if they're not willing to say that to the person's face, my mother always had a saying, if you don't have anything to say good about somebody, don't say nothing at all. Okay? Say it to the person. And that's what James was talking about. He said, behold, we put, now watch this. Listen to these life lessons he gives us. Simple life lessons. How many of you rode a horse in here? I have. I used to horse ride all the time. Used to love horse riding when I was a kid. It says, behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. All right? That little bit, if you don't have that bit in that horse's mouth, you cannot guide him. You better hold on to his mane if you ain't got that, because he's going to cut and run it. But that bit tells him, if he's a neck rein horse, all you have to hold is one rein, you turn him, he'll turn. Split rein, you have two reins. You got the rein that comes out, you turn him. You know? And buggy, same thing. You know? So with a small bit in the horse's mouth, that 1,500-pound animal you can control. Amen? That's how simple it is. So James has given us a life lesson with a bit in our mouth. We put a bit in there. A spiritual bit. Let God guide us and lead us. We're going to be fine. That's what he's talking about. Amen. It's a life lesson. When God puts that spiritual bit in your mouth, he does that for a reason. That's why James is doing it. Because see, back in the biblical days, they did the same thing as we do today. People talk and they shouldn't talk. My mother always said that. She said, listen, don't get in idle conversation. Matter of fact, the Bible teaches, don't get in idle conversation. Don't get in something that you know that's not right. Don't add to it. Don't take it. Don't even listen to it, because it's garbage. Amen? And that's so hard to get across to people you work with, in your family, in church, in business. It's hard to get people not to make false assumptions and to say things. The bit will rule the whole body. Amen? It says, behold, also the ships. Now watch this, even this. Anybody been in the Navy, they know this. Behold, all the ships, which though they be so great and are driven a fierce wind, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, wheresoever the governor, listen, wherever the governor wants, whoever's guiding the ship, wherever they want it to go, that small helm, the helm and the steering would guide that big ship. You see? That's what God's saying. He said, just a small thing will guide the whole ship. The tongue, being a small member, can cause death or life in somebody's life.
Amen.
Amen. Remember I said last week, beautiful child, she's 14, 15, 16 years old, on the internet, very beautiful girl. Last year, I think it was, maybe it might have been 2 years ago, it was on the internet. This girl was just a beautiful child, beautiful young girl. Some of the other girls in the school, a lot of them didn't like her. So they started putting on the internet that this girl was trash, she had all kind of just garbage about this kid. And it wasn't true. And therefore people started to pick on her at school and make fun of her, to the point that this child come home one day and killed herself. She hung herself. Because the tongue, just like a ship being turned by a small helm. Words hurt the heart of individuals, and it lasts a long time. It's very rare forgiveness.
Amen.
Amen. That's why we as people need to be careful what we say to other people. You know, I've been accused from people that used to go to this church. It was a good accusing. It was not a bad one. They said, you know, they asked me, they said, Pastor Ron, why after every service you shake hands? When people out here talking, hey, y'all have a good day, and you go and you get in your car and leave. I said, and I quote, I said to these people, because I don't want to get in this. I don't want to hear nothing negative. So I get in my car and I go home. That's a good thing. And it's not about not fellowshipping. But I have been in my younger ministerial days, and I'd be going to a church. I was a member of the church. You go outside, people no longer get out the door of the church, and get out of the preacher's hearing distance. Well, I'll tell you what, he really, who did he think he, and they'd start. And I learned way back in my 20s, after I got saved, get in your car and go home. Because I don't want to hear that. It's just not what I want to hear. That's what God is saying. As a ship is turned, don't listen to nonsense. Don't listen to it. It's not good. It's not good for your soul, because then they plant something in your soul that shouldn't be there. And it will take root if you're not careful. Amen?
Amen.
So it's hard to stay away from it. Even so, the tongue is a little member. Now listen what it says. Boast is a great thing. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. It don't take much to get a fire started. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. It doesn't take much. Do you remember there was an incident in the Bible? I love this. This is a good point. It's a good point to bring this in. There was a temple prostitute. Y'all might know her as Mary Magdalene. And the temple priest and the Levites brought her before the feet of Jesus and threw her down. Right? Threw her down. The Bible says they threw her down. And they began to say, we caught her in the act of adultery, and by the law she should be put to death. And Jesus looked around at him. He just stooped down to get right in the sand. And they sitting there looking. He got up and he looked and he said, ye without sin cast the first stone at her. Throw that. Then he began to write in the sand again. They begin to go away one by one, one by one, one by one. The Bible doesn't say what he wrote in the sand, but I'm going to take a guess at it. And I've heard some other preachers say this is what we took a shot at as well. I believe that yes, she was guilty of prostitution. She was a temple prostitute. And Jesus got up and he said, where are your accusers? And she said, Lord, I don't know. And he said, go and sin. I accuse you neither. Go and sin no more. He told us, don't do that again. Go. Don't do it again. I believe that he began, for them to know that she was a temple prostitute, some of them had to be a part of that. And I believe he began to write the names of them that knew her intimately in the sand. Their names. Now you can believe what you want. I'm just saying that's what I believe. It's not biblical. That's just what I think. He had to do something. Because something got their attention when he was writing. Okay? But there again, see, they all got together and was talking about this one gal. And that's what happens. See, that's what the tongue does if we're not careful. I can't tell you the churches and the deacons' meetings and on jobs and marriages over silly little small flickers of a flame or flickers of an ember. An ember. He said, how much a tongue can start a blaze over just small stuff.
Amen.
And I remember one time, and I can testify that one day we had a fire in our fireplace, and I thought the coals had been burned all night, and I thought they were out, so I scooped them up, threw them in my garbage can. We went away, we come home, and Sandy says, "What is that smell?" I said, "Yeah, what does it smell like? Something burning." It had burned a hole through our garbage can onto our floor and burned a hole in our linoleum on our floor. And it had been the day before. That little ember, little tiny, that I couldn't see, almost caught my house on fire. But I caught that little rascal and put him out. Amen? Amen. That's what God is saying. God is saying, that little tongue there boasts great things, but it's like a fire that kindleth. That's exactly what happens. He goes on and says the tongue is a fire. Now it went from being a little kindle, just a little kindle, and in the next verse he says, and the tongue is a fire. He went from being starting to kindle. Now that thing's got on fire. It got big. And watch what he says. He said, the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and is set on fire of hell. It went from a little ember now to, man, it's burning everything in sight. It's a world of iniquity. It's a world of fire. And it set on hell. That's exactly right. Look at most of your news stations today. Look at the lies that they're portraying upon the American people. Look at what people will do over land and houses and cars. They will lie to other family members. That's how, and lie to each other. Look at the churches. Look at the schools. Look at the kids today. Well, you know that she thinks she's so cute, and you know what she says? She likes your boyfriend.